Hello, everyone. Hello, thank you for joining us. It's the 26th of the 30 Days AI Challenge, and it's been amazing from the one up till now. And we are so excited. We've had amazing facilitators join us. And if you're just getting to know about the 30 Days Challenge, well, you're not so late. It's hosted by Hills and Tech. Hills and Tech is an edtech organization. We ensure that women have access to technology, and we also make transitioning into tech very easy for them. We provide tools, teach them how to use no-code tools, and also learn courses such as business analysis, project management, and so on. So you can visit www.healsandtech.com to know more about us, or you can go to our Instagram handle and check our YouTube videos as well, so you get to know more about what we do. Thank you so much for joining us. This event is in commemoration of the International Women's Day, and it's been amazing from day one. We've learned amazing tools, and today we're also going to learn how to use a very important tool in project management and product management. And this tool is called JIRA. We also have a very amazing facilitator who is also an alumni of Hughes and Tech, who gladly join me as I welcome to stage Oluwadamilola Samuel. Thank you so much, Damilola, for joining us.
Thank you, Rejoice. Thank you, everyone, for having me here. Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Oh,
Yeah, so you
yes.
can add your screen, you can add to stage your slide. So, hello
Okay.
everyone. If you're just joining us, please do well to uh, put your comment in the comment section, say hi, ask your questions, and if you want us to talk about any specific area of the tool we're learning about today, please do well to mention. Our facilitator is able to guide us through the learning process. Enjoy the rest of your learning. Thank you.
Okay.
Dami-
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Am I audible? Can you all hear me?
Yes, Femi Luta, can you please confirm that you can hear us? Hello, nice to have you. Okay, please confirm that you can hear. We would like to get a confirmation in the comment section. Oh, loud and clear. Thank you, thank you. So everyone, we can hear you. Please go ahead. Thank you, Damilola.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So, 30 Days AI Challenge, and today we're discussing JIRA. So, what is JIRA? Okay, so JIRA is an issue tracking and project management tool. I mean, JIRA has lived for a long time. I think I had to check how long JIRA has stayed, and shockingly or surprisingly, I saw that JIRA has been around for like 24 years, and I'm like, wow. Well, was in demand in 2012, and since then, most organizations actually use JIRA, and just few organizations use other issue tracking project management tool like ClickUp, Asana, and the likes. But I mean, Jira is like, I would say, the mother of them all. So now, what is Jira? Jira is an issue tracking and project management tool. Who uses Jira? A product manager, a project manager, developers, business analysts, QAs, ops team as well. So common use cases in Jira, you hear words like Scrum, Kanban, Agile, and task management, bugs, and the like. So Jira interface, this is what Jira interface looks like. I will just go through my slides quickly, and I would also show you like a live Jira um, application that I created for this meeting. So this is what you see at first for Jira. You see your work, you see dashboards, projects, issues, filters, portfolio, and roadmap. I might not be able to go into everything in details because I always tell the people that work with me, honestly, you can't know Jira in one day. Trust me, I'm still even learning things on Jira. So, but I would just go through the basics today, and if you have any other question, we can always answer it. So, for the Jira boards, this is teams in space, and there you can see tickets that are assigned to you, activity stream, the pie chart, the sprint health, and other things. So once you log in into Jira with your username, user ID, and password, this is what you get to see. You have to create a board, you have to create your status, default status on Jira is we just have three: to do, in progress, and done. But most organizations actually had other status. Like my organization has more than, we have about 8 to 9 status on Jira board. We have to do, we have review, we have QA testing, ready for UAT testing, all of those things. So you can always have that. So um concepts in Jira. You hear issues are like task, bug, work item. We also have user stories, and we have a project is a collection of issues. A board is like a visual workflow, either Scrum or Kanban. We'll get to the difference between Scrum and Kanban. We also have workflow. Workflow means you're changing your status from either to do to in progress. You are telling us what the status of that ticket is about, or what the issue is about. So we have Epic. Epic is the big feature, and for example, an Epic can be, I want to create login management. Yes, login management is an Epic. So under login management, which is an Epic, you would have user stories such as SSO, that single sign-on. You can have password. You can have fingerprint. All of those user stories under an Epic. So we also have story and task. So a big feature, which is Epic. Then we have story or task, which is smaller work items that you have. Then sprints. We all know that for the agile methodology, we have something called Scrum. And in Scrum we operate in sprint. A sprint is either a 2 weeks or 1 month. Most organizations use 2 weeks. 2 week sprint. You hear words like 2 week sprints, 4 week sprints, and like, but it's a time box work cycle where a feature is actually developed. So moving on, please hold on. So we have company managed projects on Jira, then team managed. So what is company managed? Company managed is central admin controls, complex and structured, less flexible, shared across projects, managed by Jira admin, best for large organizations. Yes, it is, because my organization is actually using company managed projects, and it means that if you change a particular status on a particular project, it affects the other project. So it cuts across every other project that is in the organization. But team managed is team controlled. It's simple, quick, and fast. Is highly flexible, managed by teams, best for small teams. But for larger organizations, they actually use work managed Jira. So let's create a project on Jira. So for example, once you log in, you see your work, you see projects, filters, dashboard, people. You go to create projects. From create projects, you see a board that you are supposed to create a board. So this is the board. So from this board, we have, I said earlier that we have default status: to do, in progress, in review. So this is to do, in progress, and review. So we have all of this database set up that you would have to set up with. And sometimes setting up Jira in an organization, you need the help of your DevOps, you need the help of your tech lead, and I'll tell you why later on. But all of these things, the Jira base URL, Jira admin usernames, and all of that, because sometimes, or let me say, most organizations actually link their Jira board to their deployment notification, and also link it to GitLab or GitHub. So steps. What are the steps in creating? You create click projects, then create projects. You choose your template, either Scrum or Kanban, name your project, then click create. So I said earlier, Epic. On Jira, we have Epic. Epic, under Epic, you can have a story, you can have a task, a bug, subtask, or even we have executions, we have several task title that is in the drop down. There's a drop down once you are creating it. So backlog. So what is a backlog? For everyone who has maybe the agile methodology knowledge, backlog is a place where we dump everything that we need to create or build for a project or for a product. For example, your login, your logout, your reset password, everything you want to build in a product is in the backlog. Who operates or controls the backlog? Most times is the product owner. The product owner grooms the backlog. So in the backlog, we have everything. So we also have sprint backlog as well. Sprint backlog are the items that has been moved from the backlog into the sprint for the developers to work on. So this is how the backlog looks like. You have all the items and everything that needs to be there. So the steps is project issue type. Like I said, we have several issue types beyond tax, story, and bug on JIRA. Then you had your title, you have your description, assignee. If you're assigning to yourself, you can put assign to me, then click create. Good tickets is equals to clear title plus acceptance criteria. And I don't want to go so deep into acceptance criteria, what is acceptance, what's how to write. I want to believe that maybe many of us should know, right? So this is what a Jira board looks like. And I would show us what a proper Jira board looks like. Trust me. So for Scrum, what's the difference between Scrum and Kanban? For Scrum, the stories are to do in progress done versus Kanban, to do in progress testing, ready to test done. I will tell us when we should use Scrum and when we should use Kanban. This is what a Kanban view looks like. Either commitment point, delivery, work in progress limit, all of these things. So yes, key differences between Scrum and Kanban. Yes, Scrum is time-based. Kanban is continuous-based, continuous flow, meaning that it goes on and on, But sprints, we use in Scrum, we use sprints. Like I said earlier, 2 weeks or 4 week sprints. Planning. So in Scrum again, we have Scrum events. We have Scrum artifacts. So for Scrum events, we have several events: sprint plan, sprint retrospective. We have the backlog grooming, we have the sprint review. All of these events are managed in Scrum. So for the planning, sprint planning is required for Scrum, and the sprint plan happens on the first day, the beginning of every sprint. That's when you do your sprint plan. For a 2 week sprint, you do 4 hours. For 1 month sprint, you use 8 hours. I wouldn't go into that so much details about that, but for roles is defined by the product owner, like I said, the scrum master, and the developer. Those are the three owners, or those are the three people important in a scrum team. Scrum team comprises of the product owner, the scrum master, and the developers. No other role. But in Kanban, no strict roles. You can have anybody: project manager, product manager, everyone. Then structure. Scrum is more structured. Kanban is more flexible. And metrics, we have velocity, burn down charts, burn up charts. We have a lot of metrics and charts on Jira. I would show you as we move ahead. So do we have anybody with any question? Am I too fast? Any question? Can I move on? Okay,
Yes.
so
Go ahead. Though, can you zoom in so you can see your screen better? But at the moment, there are no questions, so you can go ahead.
okay, all right, okay. So for the steps, we have you go to the board, view columns, to do in progress done. You can always drag issues across columns. This reflects your workflow progress. Teams updates, they update this daily. So there's something called the daily or the 15-minute stand-up call or meeting, where you give what was done from the previous day into what you plan to do that same day. So for backlog and sprint planning, like I said earlier, this is what the backlog looks like, and everything is dumped in the backlog. But for sprint backlog, you bring everything into sprint. As you can see, I have sprint 3, sprint 4, complete sprint. You push things from the backlog into the sprint backlog. So, and that's where developers are assigned tasks and assigned what they need to do. So for creating sprint, you go to create sprint, then it takes you here. This is where you see the timeline. You can actually give timelines to your epics. You can give timeline to what you plan doing for either the sprint or for the project duration. So to do, in progress, in review, done. If you move a ticket from to do to in progress, automatically it moves. I can either drag or change the status manually, but on Jira it's actually automated. So assigning and tracking work. So if you from open an issue to assign to team members, you can add due dates and add comment or updates. Comment and update is very important because any random person can actually open your task on Jira and would want to know what has been going on with that ticket. And the only way they can get to know and have like an updated view of what that ticket is about is through the comment section. So I always tell my developers, you update the comment section like you are chatting with your girlfriend. If you change the API, write in the comment section that, oh, I just changed the API and I need Mr. B's help on this. That's the only way any random person that picks up, your ticket can know what your ticket is about. So we can also filter and search on Jira. For example, if I need to know or see tickets that are in to do or tickets that are in done status, I can actually search either manually or I use the you can use the JQL method as well. That's Jira query language to search for items or issues on Jira. So these are just still screenshots on Jira. So like I said earlier, click filters, you can click on the advanced search. You can also use either assignee, status or priority to search or basic JQL, that's Jira query language. Assignee could be the current user, or you might want to, for example, if I want to search for all the ticket that has been assigned to a particular developer that is in my team or my project, and I want to know the tickets that is either about to start, which are in to do or they're in progress. I can search using assignee or status as well. So dashboards and reporting, we have sprint burn down to know how much work that has been done in a particular sprint. We have burn up charts. We have the sprint health as well. We have several, depending on every organization. There are some reports that are very important to the stakeholders. There are some reports that are also important to the management. There are some reports that are important to the product team, So it depends on the organizational structure. Common Jira mistakes that people make and how to avoid them. So I'll just take you through a few. Using Jira is as a tax dump. Everybody just think, oh, let me just write, oh, I'm coughing. It's on Jira. I am doing this. No, everything goes into Jira with no structure or clarity. However, it's not supposed to be so. We should create tickets and tasks with clarity, giving it the title, the narration, everything, clear issues, clear issue type. For example, in my organization, we have an issue type called improvement. We have an issue type called enhancement, where we built something already, but the client wants us to add maybe just a tiny button, so we give it the proper, issue type name. So you can also create issue type names as well, aside the one that, Jira has given. So writing vague or poor tickets, these developers are very guilty of it. That's why most of the projects that I handle, I actually create these tickets myself because I put in the right things compared to a developer will just tell you, oh, I want to, for example, developing an API for F front end, is always just very vague. And somebody who is not even technically inclined might not even understand what that ticket is about. So I always tell them, send me what you want me to create, and I create in a better way. So I give it the right title, I give it the right acceptance criteria. If it's a user story, you write the user story as it should be. As a user, I want to do this so that I can do this. I want to open my app so that it can take me to the landing page. Something that anybody who sees or opens the ticket would understand. The third mistake is not updating status regularly. I always fight my developers for this because they always find it very difficult changing their status. I don't know why, but I mean, yes, we should always update our status because that's how we know what has been done. And sometimes every organization, like for example, my organization's definition of done is the ticket or whatever has been done has been deployed to production environments. So for production environments, we have everything set and is live. So if, for example, a developer has done something and he did not change the status to maybe QA testing for the QA guys to sit on their in their queue so that they can test and move to either UAT or prod, you know, if those status are not changed regularly, we will just be stopped and the burn down chart will not even show any progress. It will just show that nothing has been done in the sprint. So that also is something that is a mistake that most people actually make. Developers are guilty of that a lot. So overcomplicating workflows, yes, too many status, yes, 10 plus. I don't think I have up to 10 status, but I mean, it's always good to make it simple as possible so that people can understand. Ignoring the board and not checking it. Use the board in daily stand-ups. Yes, for daily stand-ups, you should open the JIRA board and ask, oh, what's your issue number? What's your ticket number? Oh, why is this ticket due date outdated? It shows you should have finished this task or issue yesterday. Why is it showing yesterday's date? Are you not changing the due date? All of those things. JIRA is a single source of truth. Yes. In fact, there are some organizations that if they want to actually do performance appraisal for developers, they actually use JIRA to know the number of tickets you closed out and the number of tickets you closed out and you closed out well, not just closed out, that you closed out appropriately like you should. So using external communication instead of JIRA. There are people that use a lot of word of mouth. Oh, I am doing this, I am doing it. I always tell my developers, for every slightest thing, even if you are changing the color of an application, you have to create that on JIRA. So, for example, you want to change a color from blue to red. You have to create a ticket or create an issue for that. That's the only way I can know that, oh, you worked on this. But some organizations actually use word of mouth. Oh, I worked on this. How do I know? How do I track it? How do I see? How do I even know that this issue has been deployed either to UAT or has been deployed to production environment? I can only know that through JIRA. So yes, avoid external communications like WhatsApp. Everything has to be communicated on JIRA. JIRA is like the one source of truth. Wrong use, some people use Kanban instead of Scrum. Some people use Scrum instead of Kanban. So using Scrum for unpredictable work or Kanban for structured delivery, some organizations don't know when to use Kanban, when to use Scrum. But I already shared when to use Scrum and when to use Kanban. No prioritization. Prioritization is key. On JIRA, we have high priority, P1, P2, P3, P4. If it's very important, you put it on P1. If it's slightly important, maybe P2, P3, and that's the only way to prioritize your work and know which one is very urgent and very important to either the stakeholders or the management team. So skipping training and onboarding. People always assume that people will always figure out their way. I figured out my way on it, unfortunately, with JIRA. I had to learn how to use JIRA, and I can remember my manager saying, "Oh, we need to do this on JIRA. And I'm like, "Do we have this on JIRA?" Yes, we do. So figure it out. And in the process of figuring it out, I learned a lot. But some people don't have that skill or capacity to actually learn on their own. So we need to actually teach people how to make use of this tool so that they can use it effectively. So in conclusion, at the end of the day, JIRA is not the solution. Actually, your way of working is JIRA simply amplifies whatever system you use or you choose. So JIRA doesn't fix broken processes, it exposes them. And trust me, it actually exposes them. You know who to catch, because for every status, there's an owner. In my organization, if I know that something has failed QA test and it moves back to in dev for the developer to fix, I know I'm telling the developer, why is this failing in the QA environment? So who is responsible for what on JIRA. Most teams fail with JIRA because they focus on the tool instead of the workflow. Yes, the workflow is to make our life easy, and is to also simplify what we need to do. So I would share my screen now again on a live Jira view so that we can know, or I can teach us, I can actually create tasks today on Jira so that we can actually, please let me know when you can see my screen, if you can see my screen. Do we have any questions while I'm still sharing?
Oh yeah, we don't have actually, but we have some engagement in the comment section. Femi Luda, Bon Micah, thank you so much for engaging. Aliatiza, Aziza, thank you for engaging. Gabriel, thank you for engaging. So if you're just joining us, this is day 26,
Okay.
and we're learning the tool JIRA, which is guarantees for productivity, efficiency, and from all our facilitators said, you can use it to catch people. It also exposes flaws, but it helps you also know how to fix them. So please, if you have any questions on how this tool can be useful to you, or maybe any project or product management, please drop your questions and we'll gladly attend to them. Thank you, Damilola, for the session so far. Please go ahead.
Thank you. All right, thank you. So this is a Jira board, like a real life Jira, that was created. So I'll just go ahead and create a task and see how. So we already have the workspace as this. You can also, let me see. Okay. So work type, you can make it either an epic or a tattoo. But I'll start with epic because I spoke about epic. So status um will be to do, then summary, testing, or training on Jira, then description to have a clear understanding on how to use Jira. Okay, so that's the description. I would assign to me because I'm in this workspace. Labels. We don't have any label, but label is to, for example, you can label your ticket i- as inversions. For example, we have something called sprint release, where you send out release notes to your stakeholders on what you have done in the sprint. So I mean, you can add labels to this. So parent tickets, I wouldn't assign because Epic is also a parent. So you can choose team. So this is where the due date, I can put due date as today as the date, then start date as today. This you can also add more fields in for your ticket creation, like the Scrum Master's name, the project manager's name. You can also add you can add things like the GitLab, GitHub URL, just a lot. So you click on create. So once you create, we've created an epic now. So this is a Kanban. Then we can create another one for as a story or a feature. I can add work type, maybe user story. Okay, so this is story. So add. I'm adding another work type here. So I'll change this from epic to story. Then I'll change the status to do because it's something I want somebody to work on. So I can say login management, or single sign on, single sign on, single. Okay. So as a user, I want to be able to sign in using my social media credentials so that I I can view the landing page that as a user I want to so that I can. So for assigning, I would assign to myself or assign to anybody. Let me assign to Mary Jane. Then for here, we don't have acceptance criteria, but for acceptance criteria, you can add, there's a way we write it, given that I am, given that sign in into the website. Oh my god, the system is okay. Okay, so can choose just wait. Okay, so we can view. You can view your story. You can view your, you know, you can view everything. So here we have the assignee labels. We have the parents. So for parents, I can link this to the epic I created. It automatically loads, or it should actually. Yes, training on JIRA. So I can just attach this epic to this user story. I can choose the start date as today. Then I can also, for development, here you can link it to your GitHub or GitLab or anything. Automation, you can set automation rules on this. So um, let me just go to other items on this board so that we don't, this is dashboard. You can view all dashboards. We are viewing dashboard, default dashboard. For create, you can also create your dashboard. So this is it. You want to know the tickets that are assigned to you or your company in JIRA as a whole. So in JIRA, we also have access. I mean, some people have super admin access, some people have admin access, some people have company admin access. There are some things I can do that some of my developers cannot do on JIRA. My developers cannot start and end sprints. I am the only one that can actually start and end sprint because I manage it. So I have the super admin access. So we have all of those things also in place in JIRA, where you have user roles and permissions, all of that. So like I said earlier, you can't know JIRA in one day, but a good place to start is this, know how to create tickets, know what work type or issue type JIRA is, know who to assign it to, the start and due date, and other fields that you think is very important to your stakeholders or to your management. So I think I'll just stop here. If anyone has any question, I can just take questions from anyone. You know.
Femi, do you have any questions? Bonaika, anyone, do you have any questions? I just want to ask. So, besides running a project for a team, can Jira serve on a personal level? Can you use it to manage your life in any way?
Yes, you can actually. You can. All you just need to do is, for that kind of situation, you might need to use the Kanban and maybe not Scrum. So you use Kanban, and where you put, okay, to do, in progress, pending items, done items, work items. Yes, you can actually. So
Oh,
because
okay.
all you need to do is just have a list of items you want to do in the to do. For example, I want to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. I want to but why use Jira for personal use? well, you can use other, I mean, we're in 30 days AI challenge, you can use, but yes, you can if you choose to or if you want to. Yes, you can.
All right. There's a question from Femi Luther, and it says, "What's the future of Jira?" And the next question is, "Are there any other tools competing with this application? Are there any other competing application?" So,
Yes, we
what's the
have.
future of Jira?
Yes, we do. We have, I think the newest of them all is ClickUp. And I kind of like ClickUp too, right? But well, like what I said, Jira has stayed for too long. So most organizations trust Jira. It's just like Jira has been there since 2011, 2012. So they've acquired almost all the organizations. It's just now that some organizations are like leaving Jira and going to, and that's because of some of the, little complaints that people have, made for them to upgrade this, do this, and all of that. But I think Jira has come to stay. I don't think we have any product that does not have competitors, right? Yes, we have ClipCorp, we have Asana, we have other ones. So it's good for everyone to have an idea of what other tools look like or can be used for. Then I think we have, yes, we also have Azure. Yes, that's what some organizations use, So yes, we have other competitors. ClickUp is like I think it's the one giving Jira like the giving them high blood pressure, because we even have like a sponsored ad on YouTube where ClickUp actually mentioned Jira, you know, in their ad and said, Jira, I don't need you anymore. I'm switching to ClickUp, So
Wow.
yes, there's an ad like that on YouTube. So yes, we have ClickUp, Asana, and other tools, but I think Jira has come to stay. They've actually taken a larger share of the market already. So it would take
Yeah.
ClickUp like triple the effort to actually make Jira
I can
shake so
imagine
much.
if you
Yes,
have
yeah.
amazing product managers like yourself using it. I mean, it has posterity. A lot of people still want to use it. Thank you
Yes,
so much. It's been
yeah.
an enlightening session. We have feedback from Femi Luther says thank you, Damilola, for an enlightening session.
Thank
And Coach Say
you.
event says thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Damilola. I believe everyone has enjoyed this session and they've been enlightened and they can go ahead to try to use Jira and try to see what is it at least before we have it replaced anytime. Get to have an experience of it
Yes,
and
yes.
always appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much, Damilola. We appreciate
Thank
this
you so
session.
much for having me. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
joining us.
you.
This has been 30 Days AI Challenge, and today is the 26th. I want to announce that we are having a grand finale on the final day, which is day 30. You can't afford to miss it. We have all of our status and a lot of people on this live session. So please ensure to be participating up until then, and we'll have other exciting things. If you've not joined our community, please join our community. Go to our Instagram handle, you see the link, and then join. It's never too late to learn. So we'll be so excited to have you. Thank you so much for staying with us. Korewase, Tami, Aziza, thank you so much. Bonaika, thank you so much for engaging. Gabriel, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I am Rejoice Iroma, and I have been your host and moderator for this evening. Thank you so much and have an amazing evening. Do well to continue to join. We enjoy seeing you.